beauties, Rosie here from rosypeña.com, a sewing and style vlog. Today I'm here to share with you my October sewing makes. I'm super excited to share them with you, so if you'd like to see it, go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so the first garment that I want to get into is McCalls 7020. Now, I didn't have this shown in my October sewing plans. I actually changed my mind as I had the fabric laid out. I was going to sew the duster cardigan that I had mentioned, and I had my fabric laid out and it just wasn't working for me. I didn't think it was going to turn out very well. So I went through my patterns and I found this one, and I thought it would work really well, and I'm super happy with the way that it turned out. So the pattern features a center front seam and a center back seam. I actually just left the center front seam, so I didn't sew the seam down the center back. I thought it would just look a little bit nicer. Sometimes whenever you have a seam going straight down your back, it can kind of draw attention to your butt and I didn't want to do that with this pattern. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I really love the collar on this. It has a really wide collar, so I really love that. And I actually left the hem of my sleeve not raw. I serged the edges, so I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, that's the way that I finished it. I just serged the edges, and I really actually like the way that it turned out. It's super slouchy and super comfortable. So again, that was McCalls 7020. So the next item that I have to share with you is my McCalls Tunic, and this is the plaid fabric that I had picked out, and I absolutely am obsessed now with plaid fabric, especially for this season. So I really like the way that it turned out. It is probably the longest make from this month that I sewed up. It definitely took longer than the other items that I've sewn. So I would say the collar is a bit tricky if you're a beginner. But if you follow the directions, you shouldn't have any problems with that. And also the front band, because you have to align the buttons very well with the buttonholes, so that takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. The only thing I changed on this pattern was the pocket flap. It has, in the pattern, it shows a button on either side of the pocket, but I decided to just sew one button in the middle. And that was just my personal preference. I think it would look super cute with the button on either side as well. My favorite thing about this tunic is definitely the side slits and the rounded hem on the bottom. What I'm showing you here is pretty wrinkled, so please excuse that. The side slits are definitely my favorite part of this pattern, and I could definitely see myself sewing at least one or two more of these this season. And it also has a raglan sleeve, so it's not your typical set-in sleeve. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say about this tunic other than I really love it, and I highly suggest this pattern if you haven't sewn it up yet. This will look super cute in all different types of plaid and even a solid color. So the next item that I have to share with you is my Simplicity Pants pattern that I sewed up. And a lot of people really seem to love it on the blog when I posted this. And I think my favorite part of this has to be the little tie belt. It didn't actually have the tie belt featured on the pants, but it did have it on the skirt, and I knew right away by looking at the pattern that I was going to want to sew a tie belt with this in the pants version. So the pattern says to make thread loops for your as a belt carrier, but I decided to actually just make my own. It's super easy. I described how I did it on the blog. So it's not hard to do at all. So that was the only thing I changed about this pattern, was adding the belt loops. And I just placed them in the back, 2 on either side, right above the darts. I also placed them in the front, right above the little pocket seam here. So yeah, I really love these. As soon as I purchased my patterns, I cut them. As soon as I get home, I cut them, all of them. So when I first was buying a lot of pants patterns, I thought that I was a size 8 like I am on the top. So I have several pants patterns that are way too small for me because I'm actually a size 10 in my pants. So it took me a while to figure that out, but once I realized it, now I cut my pants in the correct size, thank goodness. So this, I cut it in a size 10, and the fit was perfect. I really loved it. There was just some slight, it might have been a little tight at the crotch, but nothing major. But I do want to learn how to make a pant sloper. That way I can hold it up against my pants patterns and see where I need to change it and all that stuff. So if you guys have any pants sloper class suggestions, I would really love them. I know Craftsy has a lot of classes. I don't know if they have a pant sloper. I'm sure that they do. If anyone's taken it, go ahead and let me know what you thought about that in the comments. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say about these pants other than I like them and they were super comfortable. Okay, so my last make of the month definitely is my favorite. It has taken the cake. I really love it. Super obsessed. So this is the Vogue jacket that I posted about. And this is definitely a staple jacket pattern in my opinion. I could see several of these made up in several different variations, a solid, different prints. I really love it. So my favorite detail on this has to be the tucks. I mentioned in my October sewing plans that I had never sewn a tuck before. I wasn't sure what a tuck was. It's super easy. If you've sewn a pleat before, you can definitely sew a tuck. It's pretty similar in my opinion. So yeah, that was my favorite detail of this jacket pattern. I'm going to hold it up, see if you can see it a little bit better. The way that I finished my edges was just by serging them. So I don't personally have a problem with that. You can definitely do Hong Kong finishing on your seams. That would look really nice as well. But serging, in my opinion, is just a lot quicker. And like I said, I don't mind the way that it looks in the end. So the way that this jacket closes is actually just with this snap, this single snap that it has in the front. And I think it's super easy, super cute, super convenient. I do think that this jacket needs to be, well, it doesn't need to be, but it looks really well just closed. So if you have it open, it kind of just looks like it needs to be wrapped up. I don't know if I explained that well, but yeah, it looks really great with the snap closed, and then also it has a tie belt. I didn't actually have enough of this fabric to make the tie belt, so I just used a belt that I had at home. Your interfacing, I think that's very important when it's to jacket patterns. You definitely want to choose the interfacing that is similar to the weight of your fabric. So if you have a mid to heavyweight fabric, you definitely want to use a mid to heavyweight interfacing as well. So use a similar interfacing as your fabric. You don't want to use a very lightweight interfacing with the heavyweight fabric because it's not going to hold well. So I chose a mid-weight interfacing because this is a mid-weight fabric. So I think it helped to hold the shape of the collar very well. As you can see, it's not just flopping right down, it's holding its shape. So that's definitely what you want when it comes to a jacket. And like I said, a lot of you seem to really love this pattern, and I can see why. It's the perfect pattern. Honestly going to be a staple pattern in my wardrobe for a long time. I can see me sewing several of these different color variations, and I really love it. These tucks are amazing. Okay, so that is it for this video, you guys. Like I said, I just wanted to quickly come on here and show you my October sewing makes. Some of you have requested it. I'm so excited by how many people have subscribed to my channel. I definitely want to do a giveaway, probably eventually, hopefully, if I reach 1,000 subscribers. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!